Welcome to VIPKid Mornings with Melissa. Today we are welcoming teacher Micah Kidd. He is going to talk to us about VIPKid Teacher Health.
Hello, how are you doing, Melissa?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to have you on today to talk about VIPKid Teacher Health and what your vision is for teachers that work with VIPKid health-wise. And so before we begin talking about that, would you tell us a little bit about your VIPKid story?
Well, sure, I would love to. So I started with VIP Kid in May of 2018. It started with an email from, I believe, Indeed.com, but one of those job search sites, and it, basically said like, we see that you have some experience in education. We have this opportunity, blah blah blah. And so my initial reaction was, okay, this is some new, hoax or you know,
Yeah.
kind of what we all say a scam here, as you might say. But something about it stuck in my craw, and I looked at it again, and I kind of, okay, I'm going to check out what their angle, how they're scamming people, and it really, and I think I got on YouTube somehow, and I started seeing a few videos, and I remember it was one by teacher Tina Garcia, where, and I don't remember the exact video, but it was one where she kind of basically says right away, like, "Hey, I know what you're thinking. This is a scam," and she's like, "But it's not," or something, and so I was like, okay, I see, what's going on here. And I kind of watched her videos a bit, and I was like, okay, I get it. And I watched other people's videos too. A lot of other great videos out there, and it sounded like something I wanted to do, and that you could be kind of create your own identity in the classroom is what I liked. Is there was teacher Tina, but then there were other teachers too that all had different varieties, and you know what I mean. They were almost like different characters. Everybody, and it seemed really creative to me, and fun, and you were interacting with these children in China, and that just sounded so exciting as well. And so that's kind of what got me in the door. And I started teaching these kids, and of course that was really amazing. you know, uh, and you fall in love with them right away. It was just beyond. And I think only a teacher understands this. It's like definitely at first, it's almost like you're going to a faraway land or something. Something. You know that feeling. You know what I
Yeah.
mean. And it's just really neat to interact with these people, and but what really captured me more than anything is I started to get involved with the teacher community, and these teachers who didn't know each other, who were really in a lot of ways in competition with each other, you know, uh, were had this, like, you wouldn't know it from that. They had this way of just supporting each other, lifting each other up, caring for one another, and it was really something altogether awe-inspiring that I hadn't seen since I had been in the military, or something like that, where people
Right.
just, that camaraderie. And these people are all online and don't even know each other.
That's right. We're all Facebook friends, but we're the only ones who can understand what we're talking about when we're talking about student no-shows and teacher ITs and using all these acronyms. Those are the only people that are going to understand us at 4:30 in the morning, right? Are
Absolutely.
those teacher friends on the online? But I do know what you're talking about, feeling like, I mean, you're doing something new. As a VIP kid teacher, you're entering the classroom, you're using the portal, and it is a new job. And then, you open that classroom, and the students there halfway across the world, and it really is like you're entering their world. They love to share things with you, show you things in their houses, things in their environments. I even had one student show me fireworks that were happening one Chinese New outside of his window, and I'm thinking, there's no way I would have ever seen that if I wasn't working, for VIP Kids. So I do understand what you're talking about with that. So how long have you been a teacher?
So I started last spring. So well, I guess I'm a little bit over 500 days now. So that's it.
Okay.
Going on 2 years now.
All right. So you saw the teacher community and you the connections that we were making on Facebook, and you decided to make the connections around health or staying healthy as teachers who are working really early in the morning and really late into the night. Can you talk a little bit about why that drew you in? An important, I guess, standpoint for you?
Yes, it had been, of course, that's been the area that I always studied was, public health, wellness, and just always had a mind for occupational health, human performance, that type of thing. And so I saw this community here, and, we have a lot of challenges. We waking up very early, for example. We're independent contractors. So our situation as far as insurance might be very different. So we need a lot of self-care. We need to be proactive. We need to take care of ourselves to prevent illness as much as possible, of course, which will maximize pay. It'll maximize bookings, apples, everything,
Yeah.
and so that's what it's all about. It's about performing better from the get-go, from a performance standpoint. That a teacher, if you think about like an athlete, how they need to train through a season, there's certain times where they need to train harder than others, certain times where they really need to focus on, maybe their sleeps, different times maybe they lift weights. And teachers are no different. We have physical demands as well. They're different.
Yeah. And teachers, especially who are doing something like this, and oftentimes, even in addition to a second job or a full time job, they're adding on these early morning and late hours. And we've seen from your Facebook pages and your challenges that, getting exercise in, eating correctly, paying attention to how much you're sleeping is all important to your physical and mental well being as a VIP Kid teacher. So I just personally want to reach out and thank you. I know that you're have been a means of support and information for me. And I always refer people, like my referrals, when they're new teachers and they say, what Facebook pages should I be a part of? It's always the health page because I feel like that's important. They need to take the before they start opening up, every possible spot they can, and they end up staying awake all night long, 4 nights in a row or something. So I thank you for putting that out there, making this on the forefront of everybody's minds that works for VIP Kids, and making it something everybody's talking about. So speaking of that, I saw your post about what's about to happen when time changes. So in about a month, we're going to have the DST time change. We're going to have Halloween, and then those regulations from China are going to take effect. And so you want to make teachers aware of this. You want to think of it as a new start where they're putting their health first. In this Operation Fall Forward. So, will you talk a little bit more about what you're trying to accomplish, what you want to get out for the teachers to take into account?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and thank you again for the kind words. But once again, we have to be very proactive, and so what you want to call the holiday season that is coming is there's going to be a few challenges. Of course, we talked about these, the MOE regulations being on the weekend with Halloween and then daylight savings time all being compacted in a 72-hour period, and that's true, and that's challenging enough. But we're going to have more incentives this season. There's going to be holidays. We're talking about other aspects of our lives, like for example, those of us with kids. This is going to be a busy season as far as pick up and drop offs. More than likely, they usually are. So there's just so much going on that it really I think serves the teacher community to go into this with the mindset that we're really training to be at our best beforehand, rather than waiting all the way until New Year's to get, you know what I'm getting at. And so
Yeah.
we can make that same resolution right now, and really, instead of it being a fall backwards, a fall forwards, and go into this with the health and the mindset that will protect us from these long hours and late nights.
Right. So if we just all collectively think of this as a new year and a new start and keep all those things in mind, then you think going forward, uh, we will have more balance in our life between VIP Kid and personal.
Yeah, if we can develop some healthy habits now, and that might be different for everybody, and that's why, for most of us, it's probably eating a little better is probably going to help, start developing habits where we're eating more whole foods and not, relying so much on the candy, the sugars, and things like that, because we're going to want enough of those as the holidays as it is. But right now, if we start eating healthier, and, and that's probably for the majority of us, but some of us, it might be moving more. Some of us, it might be, looking at our ergonomics for our desk setup and improving it. So it could be a little different for everybody.
Right. But everyone just needs to think about how they're going to adjust to all of these things that are happening. And just right now, this particular time change that's coming up is also coinciding with, losing that last hour of teaching. And so many teachers who need so many classes every month, or they want to teach so many classes every month, are going to need to either get up earlier to add on that extra hour, or on nights and teach, when maybe they wouldn't regularly teach, to get that same amount of classes, that same amount in their paycheck. So it is the time change, but it's also a schedule change, and a big schedule change too.
Yes, yes. And this is what really made me think of this to begin with. The normal, daylight savings time is one thing. But I started looking at this time change in probably July, and I was like, oh, wow, this, this is kind of, some people might, try to get up 2 hours early in one day, and really even 1 hour in one day. There are many studies that are linking that time change to an increase in auto accidents, heart disease related deaths, all sorts of bad doom and gloom stuff that we don't need to talk about. But my point is that it takes you about a week for your body, your circadian rhythm, your health to actually adjust to just a 1 hour change. The 2 hour change is going to be even more difficult. You're going to have problems going to sleep, because it's going to feel like you're staying up later because of the time change, and you're going to wake up too early because, again, the time change. So
Right.
so if we can do this gradually, that is really going to serve us. Gradually is going to be better. Maybe 15 minutes a day, a week early, instead of all at once.
Right. So that's why October would be the new year, or the Operation Fall Forward, where we go ahead and begin getting ready for that. So perhaps that would look like closing your 9:30 slots if you're Eastern time zone. Go ahead and closing those and opening up some earlier slots a couple days a week, so you can get used to getting up earlier over a period of time, not just all of a sudden you need to get up an hour earlier. I see. So every time change is like that. Every time change is a reset on the clock and a reset on our schedule. But this particular time change is also going to coincide with losing that last hour. So I think that's good advice. Do you think that teachers get sick with this time change, adding on more hours earlier?
Well, it could be linked to illness for sure. We know that, if they're being sleep deprived, that's linked to things like a weakened immune system. I wouldn't say that this alone, independently on its own, would make somebody sick, but in conjunction with not getting enough sleep on other nights, it could certainly contribute.
Yeah. And so holidays as well. We mentioned, your personal life. The kids are busy. You're picking up kids and taking them to all their activities if you have kids. But also, it's just holiday time. Thanksgiving's going to be coming, and then Christmas, and so our lives are usually more packed around those holidays as well. So I would like your opinion on maybe finding some balance, maybe learning that you could open four more slots that day, but it's not the best idea. How would you sort of encourage a teacher to put themselves and their personal life first?
Well, now one thing that I will say that a lot of people, almost get blown away when I suggest this, and it's talking to your family. And and that almost, people forget that, but talk to your family and the people around you anyway, and ask them, what they think of it, because they might say, hey, you know what, you've been working a whole lot lately, and we want to spend time with you or something like that. Or so that would be my first go-to. But of course, if you don't have family, or if that's not important, or if they don't, they don't mind what you do, then you need to set goals where you know how much money that you are actually wanting to make, and
Uh,
so that you can then determine, based upon that goal, whether or not you need to work more hours in the first place, or not, because I think a lot of times people just they just work as many hours as they can just to kind of do it.
right, because they can open up those slots, and but that's not always what's healthy, both physically and mentally. And then, they're just not putting themselves first. So,
It's so much fun. It really is. It is so much fun when you're in there and you get that you get that almost like you do, and you know what I'm talking about. And you get booked, and it's like you're going, and but we just want to make sure we have the balance there.
right. We do. So, you have some things set up to support teachers as we are going through these time changes and regulation changes over the next month. Some Facebook pages. So, can you talk a little bit about how the teachers can connect with you and with each other regarding Operation Fall Forward?
Well, what I would like everybody to do first of all is to just within their own, micro communities, to raise awareness this next week about health, so that you don't have to necessarily follow me or do what I'm doing. If you run, your own page for, people who knit, socks for dogs for VIP kid teachers, then, talk about health there, you
Okay.
know, and that's just a plug for the people who knit socks for dogs, but it's a
I
good
think
group.
that is a good group. I like that group. So, so you just want everybody to talk about health and maybe make a plan for what they're going to do or how they're going to handle the changes?
Yes, and there's a whole lot of things you can do. First of all, I just ask people to talk about it and create conversation, to share recipes for their healthy recipes. That maybe start a weekly challenge. We could do on that Derby.com, for example, is a great site to find weekly challenges. That Theirs are, ones that I know are, safe and, make sense from a exercise physiology point of view. But that's so but there's other great ones out there too. But yes, definitely talking about exercising, walking more, just talking about it's great. Now we are doing some more organized things on Instagram the next week. We have Nancy Taylor is going to be involved, myself. We have Heather Fritz, the VIP Kid yoga teacher. She's doing it. Teacher Marilyn, who, she's really cool. She, does fitness stuff quite a bit. She's doing some Zumba classes. We got Teacher Lorenza, who does dancing on Instagram. So they're doing some giveaways and some, giving some of their free time and promoting it over on the Instagram side of things. So it's going to be kind of popping over there.
Okay. And so you were telling me that the Instagram hashtag is health for teachers, health and the number four for teachers. So if a teacher was to go to Instagram and search for that hashtag, they'd be able to find these teachers, these Instagram lives and giveaways.
Yes, they will. They will see quite a few, and I would encourage them to participate as well and post their own tips using the hashtag. They can find my Instagram account at VIPKid Health if they
Okay.
wish, and they could find it there. But we are starting to promote it, so you should see it. Of course, Nancy Taylor. I'm sure a lot of people know who she is, so you can.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll see it on hers as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so on Facebook, where could we find you or a group where you're talking about this operation fall forward?
on Facebook, we're not quite as organized yet. There's a whole lot of fitness groups out there. There's a group right now that's the last 90 days challenge VIP Kid.
Okay.
And it's a VIP kid group, small now, but we can grow it real quickly. Again, that's where I'm hoping to just get several of the groups kind of really pumped up about it, and see what we can get going organically this year, and do it next year too.
Right. So you just, whatever page you have, you just want teachers to be talking about themselves, among themselves, not necessarily directing them to one place. As far as a Facebook group goes, you're just trying to get the word out, make it a topic of conversation, a trending topic, if we will.
Yeah, make it, just for the good of the whole teacher community, and the hashtag things. I love them and everything. In this case, I haven't gotten to the point. My ultimate goal, of course, is complete. I want VIP Kid to kind of have their own health week. Is to get them to eventually be like, hey, that's a great idea. We're going to do a health week every week, and they'll actually promote it or whatever. And then it would be huge.
Right. Yeah. So I think this is the way to start. Show them that someone has started it, someone has gotten the ball rolling, and then we get teachers interested and talking about this. And again, make it that trending topic. And that's the way that I think the company begins to notice, hey, this is something that uh, teachers really want or teachers are interested in, because they do listen, they pay attention to what we're focusing on, what we're sharing and talking about on social media and the hutong. So I think definitely doing like you said, just getting the word out, sharing it, starting those conversations on whatever kind of pages we have, even if we're knitting socks for dogs, then we're going to get that word out and at least help one and thinking about it. And the ultimate goal would be, less cancellations, less illness, fewer teacher no shows. All right. So it's better performance all the way around, which is, of course, good for VIP Kid too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Well, I will link all of these things. I'll put that hashtag from Instagram, and I'll list the teachers that are involved over there, and some Facebook pages where teachers can begin to connect or find your original post so that they can share it among their teacher friends and their online communities as well.
Indeed, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's a great honor to be on your podcast. I love it.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming. And hopefully, we have helped some teachers out with this interview session. Thank you, Micah.
Yes, thank you. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.